Hi everyone, my name is Arianna Carroll, and today we are going to explore the economic impacts of both subsistence and commercial fishing in Alaska's Copper River Basin, a region that's not only essential to the state's economy, but also holds significant cultural and ecological value. The Copper River itself stretches over 300 miles through south central Alaska, feeding into the Gulf of Alaska. It is one of the most important river ecosystems in North America, crucial for both wildlife and the indigenous people who have lived there for thousands of years. The river sustains a diverse array of fish, wildlife, and plant life, supporting subsistence lifestyles and contributing to a regional economy driven by both local needs and global markets. What makes this region especially noteworthy is its reputation for producing world-class Copper River salmon, particularly sockeye and king salmon, which are not only prized locally but have established a lucrative presence on global markets. Fishing in this region takes two primary forms. Subsistence fishing, where fish are caught for personal, family, or community use, and commercial fishing, where fish are caught for sale in national and international markets. Both types of fishing are deeply embedded in the region's economy, yet each has its own economic and cultural role. Understanding these distinctions is key to navigating the tensions and synergies between them. Subsistence fishing is much more than a way to catch food. It is an essential component of economic survival for many families in the Copper River Basin. The region's remoteness means that food prices are some of the highest in the country, and for many, subsistence fishing provides a critical lifeline, significantly reducing household grocery bills. This reliance on local resources not only decreases dependence on expensive imported goods, but also boosts the region's economic resilience in a way that external markets cannot. Additionally, subsistence fishing plays a vital role in the non cash economy. Communities in the Copper River Basin operate on a network of reciprocity, where fish and other resources are shared, rather than exchanged for money. This system fosters social cohesion and mutual support, and while not measurable in traditional economic terms, it is crucial for community sustainability and well being. Subsistence fishing is particularly valuable in terms of its indirect economic impact. For instance, by reducing the high cost of living in rural Alaska, subsistence fishing allows families to allocate funds towards other priorities like housing, healthcare, and education. This economic benefit can't be overstated, especially when considering that some rural Alaskan communities face living costs that are double or triple what they would be in the lower 48. Moreover, subsistence fishing helps build community resilience. During economic downturns or natural disasters, such as the recent disruptions caused by COVID-19, the ability to catch and share fish ensures that communities can weather hardships without relying solely on external aid or government assistance. It's a form of self sufficiency that strengthens local economies and minimizes vulnerability. Lastly, cultural preservation is another crucial, though often overlooked, economic benefit. The traditions tied to fishing, fish camps, traditional knowledge, and community gatherings attract educational tourism and contribute to cultural education programs, offering indirect but significant economic value. These cultural practices are not just a way of life, they're a living legacy that holds great potential for community driven economic development. Despite its many benefits, subsistence fishing faces notable limitations. One of the most significant drawbacks is that it doesn't generate direct income or taxable revenue for the state or local governments. While this is understandable in a non market based system, it nonetheless means that the full economic value of subsistence fishing is invisible in traditional economic metrics. In essence, while subsistence fishing sustains people, it doesn't contribute to the financial mechanisms that help support broader community services. Additionally, subsistence fishing is vulnerable to environmental changes. The decline in salmon populations, driven by factors like climate change and habitat degradation, can devastate these communities. When salmon runs are poor, many families face food insecurity with few alternatives. Access to fish also varies based on policies and restrictions, and competition with commercial fishing over access rights can exacerbate tensions, especially when fish stocks are limited. Ultimately, disruptions could occur if communities lose access to this vital resource, threatening the traditional practices that define their way of life. The economic cost of these disruptions is difficult to quantify, but represents a significant blow to social fabrics and sustainability in the region. Commercial fishing in the Copper River Basin is a major economic engine for the region. This industry generates millions of dollars annually through the harvest, processing, and sale of Copper River salmon. From the fishing boats to the canneries and logistic companies, thousands of jobs are created, supporting both the local economy and state revenue. Commercial fishing also brings in significant tourism dollars. Fishermen, processors, and associated industries such as lodging and restaurants see seasonal booms when the salmon are running. This ecosystem of businesses helps create a diverse economic landscape in a region that otherwise might rely heavily on government assistance or limited industries. Beyond direct revenues, commercial fishing has broader positive impacts on this region. First, it directly contributes to Alaska's state and local economies through taxes, licensing fees, and permits. The tax revenue generated by the sale of Copper River salmon help fund public services in this region, from schools to infrastructure projects. Additionally, Copper River salmon has become a premium product in international markets. The Copper River brand is synonymous with quality, and this reputation allows local businesses to command some of the highest prices for their catch, benefiting the entire supply chain. By capitalizing on this branding, the region reinforces its place as a global leader in premium seafood production. Finally, tribal corporations and indigenous communities are increasingly able to participate in the commercial fishing industry, allowing them to reinvest profits into local economic developmental projects. This participation represents a meaningful way for these communities to bridge the gap between traditional livelihoods and modern economic practices. However, the commercial fishing industry is not without its challenges. The validity of the market, especially price fluctuations and increasing fuel costs, makes this industry inherently unstable. Prices for fish can fluctuate widely from year to year, and fuel prices can make operating boats and processing plants expensive, eroding profit margins. Additionally, climate change and environmental degradation threaten the habitat of salmon, creating uncertainty for future fish populations. Without proper management, these threats could jeopardize future revenues. There are also tensions between commercial and subsistence fishers. Both rely on the same resource, and as fish stocks decrease, competition becomes fierce. Indigenous run operations, in particular, often face difficulty competing against large industrial fishing operations, which makes it harder for smaller, community driven enterprises to thrive. This lack of equitable access further complicates the balancing act between economic development and cultural preservation. To ensure a sustainable future for Copper River's fisheries, we must embrace a model that supports both economic growth and ecological sustainability. Overexploiting the river's resources for short term gain would lead to long term collapse, a reality that underscores the importance of ecological monitoring and protective measures. One promising solution lies in indigenous co-management of fisheries. By incorporating traditional ecological knowledge, the environmental wisdom developed by indigenous people over thousands of years, we can ensure that fish populations are managed with long-term health in mind. Involving communities in fishery management not only leads to better decision making, but helps ensure that the people most connected to the river have a say in its future. Subsistence and commercial fishing both play vital roles in the economic, cultural, and ecological landscape of the Copper River Basin. Each system has its strengths, but also significant challenges, especially in the face of environmental pressures and market validity. What's clear is that a collaborative approach is necessary. By prioritizing equity, sustainability, and community driven management, we can ensure that this, this unique river continues to support both traditional and commercial economies. It is not just about protecting a resource for the future. It is about preserving a way of life and ensuring that the legacy of the Copper River continues to thrive for generations to come. Thank you for your time.